All right, to sound, I'm going to be really loud in a second. Okay, liebe Leute, alle die Headphones on. Für die, die keine Headphones haben, aber mich trotzdem hören wollen, weil ich nicht die ganze Zeit so laut schreien kann, kommt einfach auf die Bühne, hier vorne hin. Wenn ihr keine Headphones habt, kommt einfach näher an mich ran. Ja? We're gonna try to make this work. Ich wusste nicht, dass ich auf der Silent Stage sein werde. So, alles klar. Lasst, wenn ihr irgendwo ein Headphone seht, was keiner benutzt, gibt's weiter. Wenn ihr wollt, könnt ihr nach vorne kommen auf die Bühne. Es gibt 2 Sessel. Es gibt hier mega viel Platz. Let's all be friends. Let's come closer. All right. So, soll ich mal loslegen? Es wird merkwürdig für mich zu sein, nicht zu schreien. Okay, also alle, die Headphones aufhaben, gebt mir mal ein Signal, wie laut ihr mich hört. Macht mal so, wenn ihr mich hören könnt. Ist es so ein bisschen wie wenn man mich direkt im Kopf hat, also wie wenn ich die innere Stimme wäre? So. I'm your conscious. You've been a bad person. All right, it seems to work. All right, they put me on the silent stage. This is how much they want to fuck me. But we're not gonna let them get away with it, all right? So, hello everybody. I've never done this before. I'm sure this is the first time for you too. We'll learn together. This is gonna be a collaborative experience. I need you to react. I don't know if you're listening to Tupac or what you're doing. You know, I was like, did everybody show up with their beats today? Like, what is going on here? All right, very cool. This is the silent stage. We'll try to figure this out. So, first of all, please do me a favor. Raise your hand if you have no idea who the fuck I am. Just raise your hand, be proud. Yeah, thank you. You're like applauding yourself. Yeah, we didn't know. We thought they're free headphones, so I sat down and picked them up. All right, very good. So you guys don't know who the fuck I am. This is good for my ego. This is some people tell me, everybody knows you. Apparently nobody fucking knows me. You guys just were like, this is the silent stage. I'm going to relax here for a moment before I go on to the other talks. All right, so I'm going to give you a very short intro, and then we're going to jump right into this. Make sense? Very cool. So first of all, I'm originally from Greece, born and raised in Germany, moved to the US 10 years ago to start my first startup there. And a lot of people describe me as one of the most prominent hustlers in Silicon Valley. Another way of saying this is that when you lack all talent, you have to make up for it with hustle. So another way of branding me is that I'm the least talented, successful person in Silicon Valley right now. If you're wondering how that looks like somebody with no talent but some success, this is me, right? All right, so enough about me. I run a company called Close.io. We build sales software for salespeople, with softwares for small businesses, and help them close more deals and drive more revenue. But I don't just run a software business. I have a little podcast, and the feeling you have right now, there's actually a few thousand people every day that do this headphone thing, and they have my voice in their ear because they subscribe to my podcast. It's called thestartupchat.com. It's with me and this really handsome man that's very wise. He's a legend in Silicon Valley. He's considered the most generous founder in Silicon Valley. I'm the least talented founder in Silicon Valley. He's the most generous founder in Silicon Valley. So we make a really good team. So if you're curious about that, if you're like, this Steli in my ears, this feels good, I want more of it, boom, that's how you get more of it. At the end of this, you're going to crave even more Steli in your life, maybe. One way to get everything I have, that these are literally all the books I've written and all the stuff I have, is send me an email, bundle motherfucker, to Steli@Close.io. It's very important that you keep the syntax exactly as described. If it's motherfucker bundle, it's not going to work. If it's not all capital letters, it's not going to work. You have to be very, very certain. Funny enough, I make this joke a few weeks ago, and there was literally somebody coming to me and was like, man, I'm super stressed. How exactly did I have to write bundle motherfucker? Because you weren't joking, right? I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. He's like, oh, well then, how do I have to do it? I'm joking. But no, I'm not really. You'll find out. Send me an email, you'll find out, all right? So, but I don't just launch software and podcasts and books. I also launch Baby Boys. Basically, not really me, my better half launched it technically. I was more support, business development, you know. So these are my two bosses. I got a message from my oldest one on the left this morning, and the message started with, I know you have to work but I still love you, I think. That's it. That's his current feeling on me. He's like, yeah, if I have to, I have to. All right, so I'm going to tell you a story I've never told before. This is actually funny because only you can hear me. This is how I got to this conference. So since most of you don't know me, I've been part of this conference for 4 years in a row. I'm part of the inventory. They box me up when the conference is over. They put me with the sound equipment and the stage, and then once a year they let me out of the box again and they invite me on stage. The very first time I got invited was in, 2013. And Stefan, one of the founders, sent me an email and said, hey, Steli, I saw you somewhere else. You're cool. Do you want to come to our festival? And I was like, I looked at my calendar, and I was supposed to be in Vienna like a few days before. And I was like, sure, I'll come to your festival. This sounds easy enough for me. 1 week before the very first festival, this was the very first time they did the conference. There was no website, there was no information. Nobody else had ever spoken here. I knew nothing about this. 1 week before, I got a very important meeting rescheduled, and I needed to go back to San Francisco 3 days before the first festival was. And I was like, oh shit. At least 30 times I started writing an email to Stefan telling him, I'm so sorry, but I can't make it this time. I just can't. I have to fly back to San Francisco. Like, I'm going to fly to Europe for 3 days, and I'm going to fly back to San Francisco, and then fly back 1 day before the conference. I can't do this. But then, I know how hard it is to run a fucking conference. Like, actually organizing 5 people to meet at a coffee shop is more than I can handle. Like, fuck that. People are difficult, right? It's like herding cats. I'm like, these guys, they're young, they're hungry, they're doing the first festival. I cannot cancel 7 days before. So I didn't. But I hated myself every fucking second up until the festival. I was every second, I self-hate. I was like, you're stupid. Why did you say yes? This sucks. You suck. Look at this. You have to fly back and forth. This is horrible. You suck at life. You don't know how to make decisions. I fucking hated myself. Every second. It was such self-loathing. And then I was at the festival, and we kind of had a good time. I looked at my private collection. This is the best picture I had to offer. There's some pictures that cannot be shown on stage. They're horrible, in the best way possible. Just horrendously bad. But we had an amazing time, and not just that we partied and everything was great and much better than expected, but I made true friendships at that conference. I met some people that I'm very close friends with today, and I'm incredibly grateful. And I hope that you guys are going to get, even if you came here reluctantly, or even if you came here with a certain plan to do this, or go watch that, or network with this person or that person, I hope that you get surprised by life and the universe, and especially by the people here, and you meet some people, become really good friends with them. So I truly believe that appreciation is the currency you pay the universe with. So I'm incredibly grateful to Stefan and Timo for putting all this together, for being as good as they are at doing this. This shit isn't easy. And I'm very grateful for the people I met and the friendships that I made over the years. And I'll give you my first tip. Even before I tell you why we're all fucked, I'll tell you how to get a little bit unfucked before I jump into that. One of the best tools I know to unfuck yourself is to be grateful and to practice gratitude. Gratitude and gratefulness, it doesn't fall from the sky. It's not like being tall or blonde. It's not like being fast or slow. It's an activity. It's something you do, and the more you do it, it's a muscle. The more you practice appreciation, the more you practice gratitude, the more gratitude you'll feel and the more appreciation you'll feel. And something funny happens when you're incredibly appreciative of life. Life gets better. Good things happen. And the good things that happen are intensified because you zero in and zoom in on it. So I'll give you one little hack that I do. I'm not very good at celebrating the good things in life. I focus on everything that's not good. And once I accomplish a goal, I go, okay, cool, what's the next goal? I'm not really good at celebrating, stopping, smelling the roses. So one habit that I've accumulated over the years is that I have a gratitude tracker. It's just a fancy word for a Word document, an Evernote. Just a simple Word document. A piece of paper could be even printed out. And every month I write, June 2017, and in bullet points, I keep track of everything awesome that happened that month. Everything. Could be a small thing, could be a big thing. And then once in a while, when there's a moment that was captured in images, I'll put the image in there. And it's very easy. Every time something good happens, I'm like, oh, let me add another bullet point. The beauty is that at the end of the year, I can actually review the entire year and see everything awesome that happened. Been doing this for 4 years, and it's changed my fucking life. All right? So I'm already throwing some tips at you. Here's some of the people that I'm actually missing and people that I've become very close friends with. For those of you, and I know there are some that are friends and know Scott and Kay and Sam take a picture of this, and then we can tell them that we're missing them, and they have to come back next year. All right. Oh, well, I'll go back. Take a picture. Take your time. All right, you got it? I learned this from Ramon Wow. Okay, so here's the deal. When we're babies, we all don't give a fuck. Like, we don't care. Babies are fucking awesome, right? They're just awesome. They don't give a shit. The problem is that as we grow up, we are programmed and we learn to care a lot about a lot of things, and we get all these neuroses and all these problems, and we'll talk about that in a second. But my main message is that as we launch the first version 1, the alpha of all of us, the closed alpha only for family members open, right? When we launch, when you're version 1 of your own product, you're actually pretty fucking amazing. You're pretty baller. You don't give a fuck. You live life in a pretty amazing way. Let's review babies for a second, all right? So babies have zero ego. They don't even know about that. They're not like, did this look good? Does this match my T-shirt with my Pampers? Does this? What do other? Shit, this other baby had. Is that baby thinking I'm fat? Am I fat? I think I'm fat. Look at all of this. Look at these cheeks. Everybody's touching my cheeks. No, babies don't think about themselves in that way. Babies are fully present. They're little monks. I know that there was an actual monk on this stage, which is kind of crazy that well, it makes sense for him to be on the silent stage. Why did they put a Greek guy on the silent stage? I don't know. They try to send me a message. But babies, the beauty of babies is when you're like, I'd love to meet like a meditation master, just visit a baby. Babies are only in the present. They don't know the past. They don't know the future. They're not like, oh, man, last week, I can't forget about that, when I burped and everybody laughed. Oh, God, so embarrassing. And they don't worry about the future. They're not like, well, right now is great, but the recession, I don't know about Europe, the extremists, all these problems, the world economy. Have you seen who's president in America? Like, they don't care about this shit. They're here, right now, fully present. They don't know any other time, no past, no future, right now, right here. They can be in the greatest joy and have the time of their life, and the next second they're on the floor screaming. The life is over. They're like, oh my God, everything sucks. And 2 seconds later, they're happy again. They don't give a fuck. They're not like, wait a second, this is inconsistent behavior. Some people might think I'm crazy. How can you be happy one moment and sad the other? This doesn't sound right. It sounds absolutely right. If you were present at all times, you would react to the present moment and not worry about how you were in the past or in the future. They're curious as fuck. Like, they're curious. And when they're curious, they're very active in their curiosity. They're not like, oh, I wonder how this thing works. Well, maybe sometime I'll figure out. No, they're just like, touch everything, faces. What is this? This is a pen. Let me see. Draw on my face. Draw on the wall. Like, they just go at life with an energy and a passion. And we all fucking did. And I know some of you is like, no, not me. No, I was different as a baby. I had a neurosis. I was seeing my psychologist. I was very skeptical about the world and what the meaning of life is. No, you too, motherfucker. You also, as a baby, were the most awesome version of yourself, right? But what happens as time goes by, and this is a problem that I have as a parent as well, I'm not above this. As parents, what is every programming that we give our children, 90% of the time, we're like, don't touch this, this is dangerous, no, this, no, this is, you're gonna fall, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna hit yourself, you're gonna hit somebody else, please don't, no, look at what other people say, look at the other children, look how the other children behave, oh my God, look, the people are gonna, we tell our children all the time about everything that sucks, how everybody else will see them, what they're not allowed to do, all the risks, and then when we become adults and we're a little fucked in our head, we're like always worrying what other people think, never wanting to take risks, always kind of hesitant, not sure what to do and what not to do. We're like, why is this person not more awesome? Like, what happened? Programming through adulthood happened, right? And if you realize this, we're all in the same boat on this. There's like most people. I mean, there's obviously always exceptions, but the general rule is we've all been fucked in one way or another in the way we've been brought up. With love, if we are lucky. With no love when we're unlucky. But with love, like well-meaning people tried to protect us from the world, but they taught us that everything is a danger, and they prioritized not risking things before experiencing life. So here's how we end up as adults, right? As adults, we have a shit ton of ego, and ego is the enemy. Ego sucks, right? Ego is the thing that stops you from everything amazing in life. You walk around and you're like, oh my God, this person. Like you walk into a gym and everybody in the gym is busy with themselves thinking everybody else is busy with them, right? You're like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. They notice that I don't have my newest shoes on. I have the old shoes I don't like that are a little dirty. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Nobody notices because they're like, oh my God, this person looks really fit. I'm not as fit as them. Now I'm not the fittest person in the room. Before that, there was somebody else, right? We're like all in our head, and this ego is slowing us down. This ego is bogging us down. It is making us a lesser version of ourselves. We are afraid. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of looking stupid. We're afraid of making mistakes. We're afraid about 1,000 fucking things. And those fears are slowing you down. Those fears making you a lesser version of who you truly full potential is, right? And that sucks. We're mindless, constantly in the future, constantly in the past. Oh, how's it going? Oh, last month was really terrible. Motherfucker, right now. Right now is not last month. Some people you meet in the last 10 years, they've been living 10 years ago. They've just had one shitty moment and they relive that shitty moment every day, every day. They practice that shit. 10 years of living one moment. It's insanity. Or constantly just thinking about the future, not worrying about the present. And we're incredibly insecure, right? Again, because we want to be loved, we want to be liked, we want to make sure that we don't make any mistakes. By the way, when it comes to acquiring new skills, when you have a baby, almost everybody here that's capable has learned to walk, right? Give me a yes. There you go. So here's how this worked out. Have you ever seen a baby trying to walk and the baby goes up and wobbles, falls down, goes up, wobbles, and falls down, and then the 100th time it goes, fuck this. I'm just not a walker. I tried it. I tried it to my defense. I tried walking. It's not for me. I'm not talented at it. I think I'm more of a crawler. I think that's my jam. I'm just going to be crawling through life. No, mother, we all fell, we looked stupid, and we did it as long as it fucking took until we learned how to walk. Right? Because why? Because everybody else was walking, so we assumed this is just the shit to do. Like there was no internal debate. Am I really good enough to walk? Do I deserve to be part of the walkers? No, fucking just go. Kids are just like, well, everybody's doing it, and I'm just going to try until I figure it out. And the moment they fall, they forget about that fall. They move forward. They only know the present moment. So let's go through some practical tactics to take all the things that we've learned as we've grown up and all our neuroses, all our problems, all our fears, all the negative programming that is slowing us down. And I'll share some tips I have on how to unfuck ourselves. Does that make sense? All right. So one I already shared, right? Did you catch that? The gratitude tracker. Be more grateful. Ask yourself right now, what am I grateful for this very moment? Doesn't have to be a big thing. Could be, you're alive, you're breathing. Congratulations. Right? History of humanity, you were in the small minority that's currently alive. It could be a big thing, whatever it is. Just practice the feeling of gratitude. And next thing is you need to actually monitor your own thoughts. Because your thoughts, you think those are your thoughts. But your thoughts are actually years of programming of other people's thoughts until they became your own. Whatever your parents were telling you, whatever your teachers were telling you, whatever your environment was talking, the tonality of their voice when they were speaking to you, all this slowly but surely made its own programming in your own mind. And when you walk around through life and you have an inner dialogue, most people think the inner dialogue is thinking. It is a type of thinking. It's not thinking. It's not all of thinking. It's a massive amount of subconscious thinking going on where there's no voice with tonality using words to communicate to ourselves. Does it make sense? Right? We all have this where at times you have this voice that's like, oh, you're not good enough. Always, it's always you. You are always the unlucky one. Look, everybody has a great time, but you are not good enough to accomplish this and that. We all have some fucked up inner dialogues at times in different situations, we all have our different challenges. You need to start paying attention to your thoughts, to that inner voice. You need to actually start listening to it as if it's a recording. And then you need to ask yourself, is this actually good? Is this shit good? Right? Is this still the CD or the MP3 that I want to play right now? Do I really want to listen to this shit? And then also pay attention to tonality. This is another funky thing. If you actually pay attention to your inner voice, you'll notice that in different situations, the voice might change. Might be female at times, male at other times. Might be really loud or really skeptical. You can actually, this sounds weird because you're like, this is my thinking. How can I be in control of it? It's in your head. You own it. Congratulations. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. You could think right now, I'm awesome. Nobody can stop you. Do it right now. Now do it louder. Right? And now do it like there was a core in the background, like a black core from Harlem screaming, "You're awesome!" In your head. Instructions. We'll work on this a little bit, but I like you. Thank you very much for the energy. All right, so, we need to pay attention to our thoughts, and we need to start changing them. You're in control of your thoughts. You can start thinking new things. You can start thinking in different tonalities. It's all within your control. Nobody can stop you, right? The other thing you need to start unfucking, and this is a very important one, is your beliefs. That's another thing. People just think beliefs fall from the sky. Oh, I think that everything in life, and especially success, is a luck thing. To be successful means to be lucky. How did you come to that belief? I don't know. It's just what I believe. Motherfucker, your beliefs are not yours. There's almost no thought we've ever had that is original. This is scary. Oftentimes I tell people something with real passion, and then I catch myself going, I just heard this a week ago on a podcast. But I'm talking about it as if it's like life experience. I've done this for 40 years. I'm like, just listen to it 5 minutes ago. Didn't do my research, didn't challenge this. They just said something, sounded good to me. Boom, this is what I believe. This is how it works now. Right? We all do this. These beliefs came from somewhere. And a belief is nothing else than a thought that you keep thinking. If you think the same thing again and again and again and again, at some point it feels so real that you think it's reality. It's not. It's just your fucking belief, right? So, the next thing, even more practical thing, this is going to be easy for most of you. You need to unfuck your words. Words are really, 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 really powerful. Words do matter. The words you use internally and externally influence how you feel, how you associate things, and that influences how you act. So monitoring your own words, what kind of language and verbiage do I use? Actually, I could just look at somebody's the language somebody uses, and I could tell you how successful, how happy or unhappy they are in life. Right? Make sense? And you can actually fuck around with this. Like I have a friend, and that friend always uses the word try. Everything that person says, oh yeah, I'm going to try to drink water. I'm going to try to go to the gym. I'm going to try to show up there tomorrow. He's always going to try. Well, let me ask you, if I tell you I tried to open the door, did I open it or not? Do this if not, do this if yes. I tried to open the door. No. Right? Trying implies failure. Implicitly, it means it's probably not going to work. Right? And I had to force him to stop saying trying and everything, especially for things where it's like, can you give me the water? I'm going to try. No, motherfucker, just do. There's no trying involved. Just reach out. There's no attempt here or not. There's another thing. Like 2 years ago, Heaton Shah, that good-looking Indian guy that's on the podcast with me, the Startup Chat, he's very wise. And we always fuck around with each other's words. And I told him, he was asking me about a certain project I was involved with, and I told him, you know what, I'm kind of burned out on this topic. And he looked at me and he said, no, you're not burned out, you're bored. And I was like, oh, shit. That totally blew my mind. Thinking about it as, not thinking like, oh my God, I'm burned out. Think about the visuals. There's actual harm. I'm like in a hospital bed somewhere, burned out. Language matters, right? It's like it's something that was done to me, and now it is affecting my body and my psyche. Thinking about my situation, my state, as like I'm being burned out versus thinking about it as like I'm bored is a funny thing. And now you could go, no, I'm not bored, I'm burned out. But what I was doing was, let me wonder, if I believed I was bored, how would I think about this? I would be, yeah, I'm bored because things don't move forward. I'm kind of bored about this project because it takes longer than I thought. It's kind of boring because I do a lot of hours. And I started thinking, this is actually a cool way of thinking about this. I feel totally differently. I describe the same things I would describe if I said I'm burned out, but it feels much better. It feels kind of empowering. It feels kind of like I'm bored. I could just go and do something more interesting, more engaging, more fun, more exciting. Words matter. Here's a challenge I want to give to all of you. Think about a word right now that you use a lot that might be limiting. And now I know what most of you do. Some people are very action-driven. They're like, well, if Steli says it, I'm going to do it. Most of us, when we sit in the audience and somebody says, do this right now, we go, I'll do it later. Right? I'll do it when I have more privacy. Motherfucker, you have headphones on. Nobody hears what you're thinking. Right? So just for a second, think, is there a word that I use a lot that might be limiting? And what if you took a 30-day challenge to stop using that word entirely? You have to find a better word to describe it. And if you can't think about it, if you're like, I'm thinking about it, Steli, but I cannot think of a word that I use such great words, make up something just for fun. Or just tell yourself, what's an awesome word I don't use enough? Let's just start using good words a lot more. Possibilities, opportunities, challenges, exciting, thrilling. There's so many amazing words, even in the Austrian or German language, right? Pick one and go with it. Here's the biggest hack to empowering yourself to live to your full potential and be your amazing self. This is the simplest thing I can tell you, but it's the hardest thing for most people to do. It's the thing, it feels weird to even think about this, but here's my advice to you. Whatever feels the weirdest that I'm telling you is probably for you. The things that you think, that makes sense, Steli makes sense right now, that's not for you. You're already like probably doing that pretty well. The thing where you're like, I don't know, now he's going too far, now he's pushing, this is weird. That's the thing you should pay attention to. That's the thing that's challenging you to be outside your comfort zone. So here's the deal. The greatest hack to almost any skill and any change in life is to change the people in your life. The people around you are influencing you a lot more than you realize. They have an incredible influence. You think, no, not me. I'm the person that influences everybody. Everybody influences you, and you influence everybody. You can't help it. That's how we function as humans. So when you choose the humans in your life very wisely, your life changes. I choose people very strategically, but lovingly. Most of the people in my life are amazing at things I suck at, or have interests that I'm curious about, but not quite committed, right? So my co-founder loves fashion and loves to eat at really great restaurants and loves to organize the best hotels. Everywhere I go and I travel, I tell him, you want to come with me? Because I know if he comes with me, we're eating like fucking kings. You know, we're going to the best restaurant, we're checked in the best hotels. He always knows what the hipster coffee shops are like, and I have to do zero work on this. I have people that are outdoorsy people. I have friends that love to like go and do outdoorsy shit and be challenged in the wild. I'm not a nature person. I love being friends with this guy because that way I do outdoorsy shit I would never do. I select people to enrich my life, and I try to enrich their life. Here's the thing that you can do. If you don't want to challenge yourself too much, I want you to think of a person. There's two groups of humans. People that give you energy, people that cost you energy. Can you think of a person in your life that anytime you spend time with that person, they give you more energy than you had before? Can you think of somebody? Nod if you do. All right. Can you think of somebody that anytime you spend time with them, you're like exhausted afterwards? They suck energy out of you. Can you think of somebody? All right. There's some people that are like, no, I only know great people. That's awesome. I actually feel the same way by now. There's nobody in my life anymore that sucks the energy out of me. But here's what I want you to do. If you can think of somebody that takes a lot of energy from you, I want you to decrease the time you spend with them. I'm not saying cut them out of your life. Like, there's family members I love. I can only spend 3 hours a year with them. I spend 3 hours a year with them. And I have an amazing time with them. I love them. I love these 3 hours. They are easy. I actually look forward to them. 4 hours and I want to stab them, right? I tested this scientifically, trust me. It's exactly 3 hours. No, but some people I just can't spend some amount of time, and that's fine, and if it's too much, it's too much. So if there's somebody like that in your life, spend less time with the people that suck the energy out of your system. Now, if you can think of somebody, and you all said that you can, if you can think of somebody that gives you energy, all I want you to do is make a commitment. The next 4 weeks, find a way to spend more time with them, a little bit more time. Doesn't matter if they even live where you live, just call them. Just Skype with them. Email them, just like everything they do on Facebook. Like, if there's no way for you to spend time with them, find a way to spend more time with people that are awesome, more people that are exciting, more people that are curious, more people that are the way you want to be, because hanging out with them will influence you, will program you, will inspire you to be more like these things. The easiest way to get better in any area is to find amazing people in that area and hang out with them, spend time with them. Make sense? All right. Here's the deal. Most of us, we think our problems are our fucking problems, right? And we all do have them. We all have problems. No matter how young you are, or no matter how old you are, you think your problems are your problem. Your problems aren't your problem. If you are alive, you have problems. That's the only rule. I was talking to a young woman a few weeks ago, and she came to me and she was like, Steli, she's like a model from Russia and a business student or something, and she's like, Steli, in the model world, I was always criticized that I'm too much of a smartass. I'm not like chitty-chatty with the clients. I'm not like as excited, as girly. I'm like very blunt, very like aggressive. People don't like that. So for the model world, I'm too smart. And now in the business world, when I'm in the consulting company that I'm at, they tell me, you're dressing too fashionably, you're actually looking too good to be a consultant, this and that. She's like, what do I do here? I'm like, motherfucker, you're too pretty and too smart. That's our problem. I just want to confirm, our problem is you're too pretty and too smart. And she's laughing, she said, no, this comes across the wrong way. I'm, no, it's coming across the right way. I don't want to even demean this. Like, sometimes we look at other people's problems and we go, that's not a real problem. I have real problems. Every problem is a really fucking problem. When you're a 4-year-old or when you're 6 and you fall in love and the girl or boy doesn't like you and you're like, the world is over, that's a fucking problem. That's the biggest fucking problem you had up until that point. It's nothing cute about it. To that person, to that human, it felt as dramatic as when you fucking lost your job or something really dramatic happened later in life. Your problems are your problems. We all have fucking problems, and no matter how small or big, there are problems. But the way we think about them is really the problem. If you are alive, shit will happen. The more alive you are, the more problems you have. Every day when somebody comes to me with their problems, with something catastrophic happens, something bad, something that can't be solved, usually when you're the CEO, if you do your job right, only the most horrendous problems should come to you, right? Everything else other people can solve. But then the things nobody can solve in your company, it travels all the way to you. Every time there's a really bad problem and I feel bad about it, my initial reaction is like, oh my God, why is everybody coming with their problems to me? I go, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. This is the reason you exist. This is the reason there's a position for you. This is why my company is paying you a salary. This is why you provide value in the world. It's the quality of your problems make the quality of your life. So instead of trying to live a life without problems, which would be a horrible life, a wasted life, try to live a life with great problems, with challenging problems, with big fucking problems, problems other people can't solve. And take it head on and go, hey, everybody's struggling at this. I'm going to give it my best go. I'm going to try it. Because as long as you're alive, you're going to have one problem or the other. If you don't have problems, that's your problem. And that comes back to this, you know, either you grow or you die. There's just two, in the universe, in nature, there's just two states. Either you're growing as an organism that's alive, or you're dying, one of the two. And the only place to grow is outside your comfort zone. Anything that you've already mastered, anything you're comfortable with, anything you know, anything you can do easily, is not going to stimulate growth. It's not going to stimulate you to grow, to learn, to expand. So there's only one rule I have, and this is another tradition I do once a year. You can do the same thing. Once a year, at the end of the year, I sit down, and because I do this like tracker and I write a bunch of stuff about me, otherwise I would not remember who the fuck. Anything that's longer than a week ago could be 10 years ago. I don't really know. I have no sense for it. But I review myself a year ago and today. And if there's not a bunch of stuff that I think, my God, I can't believe I was that stupid, then I get scared. Because it means I wasted a year on this planet. I spent 12 months experiencing things, and I think everything I thought 12 months ago was perfect. It means I haven't grown enough. It doesn't mean I'm smart. It doesn't mean I'm great. It doesn't mean I've arrived. And this is a problem. As we grow up, when we're in the teenage years, we all try to figure out who our identity is, right? We're like, am I a smart kid? Am I a beautiful kid? Am I athletic? Am I going to be good at school, bad at school? Who am I, right? And we're trying all these hobbies, and we try to hang out with different people. We try to figure out who the hell am I. Once we find an identity that seems somewhat comfortable, we're like, motherfucker, I'm never going to let go of this. I'm always going to do this. And it's in business the same thing. Once you have some success in your career, most people are like, now I'm successful and I'm just going to stay and do this thing. I'm the director of blah, blah, blah. I have a nice business card. People think I'm successful. Let's just not fuck it up. That's how people are like, let me just keep this for the rest of my life and we're good. But that's a massive waste of potential in life. Really? You're going to have like one thing and then you're going to just do that, repeat that thing forever? What a waste. We're here to experience and expand the fucking universe, not just to like stick around and hold on to it. Here's something I never understood and I always had problems with. And this is a conflicting concept for most people. Most people think freedom means you can do whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want. Freedom actually means you will do whatever the fuck you said you're going to do when you said you're going to do it. That's when you have true freedom because you are in control of yourself, which is the most out of control person in your life, right? How many times have you broke a promise with yourself? How many times have you told yourself, I'm not going to do it, and then you went ahead and did it? Or, I'm going to do this, and then you didn't do it. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. You didn't. I'm going to finish this work tonight. You didn't. I'm going to go and tell this friend, stop it, not anymore. And you didn't. I'm going to conflict my parents and tell them this. And you didn't. Like, how many times have you broken your own promises and your own commitments to yourself? And how many times have you done with other people? If it's me, a shit ton. A shit ton. I was a little prick when it comes to that. I was like, always charming my way out of problems. You know, always thinking, even if it's really bad, I'll find a way around this problem. That's not a way to be free. That's a way to be the slave of your own moods and emotions. Whatever the way I feel, that's how I'm going to act. You're the slave of your emotions. You're not the master of your mind, body, and spirit. You're not in control of yourself. If you're not in control of yourself, you cannot be truly free. Free to do what you said you want to do. And the way to freedom is discipline. How sucky is this, right? Wouldn't it be nice if it's a cooler thing? Discipline. Really? My grandfather was telling me this when I was 5. Did I really have to come to Graz to hear this shit? Yes, apparently, right? Discipline. I didn't know that. I didn't think discipline is cool. And this is the biggest problem I had for most of my life, which was that I was incredibly inconsistent. I would do amazing a few weeks and then horrible the next few weeks. I would crush it and close a bunch of deals, and then I would be like, oh my, I don't feel like doing work today. And I was just, and because I had above average success, I always got away with it. I was like, net at the end of the month, I'm still crushing everybody else. But it's very hard to be at peace with yourself when you look in the mirror and you know you're an asshole. You know you're not keeping your promises. You know you just spent 3 days not doing anything, canceling your meetings, not delivering the work that you promised. You cannot be at peace with yourself when you know you're breaking your own promises. So it took me a very long time to figure this out. And eventually I created a mantra that I want to teach you. I've taught this before. It's a very simple mantra. And this is actually a designer made this and posted it as a poster at his office and sent it to me. But it's a very simple mantra. Anytime I don't feel like doing something, anytime, and it's often times that I don't. This morning I had to wake up at 6:30 to do a podcast with Heaton. I did not feel like waking up at 6:30 to do a podcast with Heaton. I guarantee at 6:20 I hated my life. Back in the day, at 6:25 I would have written him a message because it's very easy for me to do and told him, Heaton, brother, I can't do today. And he would be like, no problem, man, let's reschedule. My today's version, here's what I do. I wake up and I go, oh my God, what a horrible decision. It's 6:25, I can't do this podcast, this sucks. And then I go, shut the fuck up and do it anyways. And I go, well, but you're going to do a bad job. My voice was gone this morning. I'm like, your voice is gone. You're going to sound drunk on the podcast. Oh my God, people are not going to. And then I go, shut the fuck up and do it anyways. Well, but I'm going to do a bad job. Well, do a bad job and do it anyways. You said you're going to do it, do it. You don't have to feel like it. This was mind-blowing information for me. I don't have to feel like doing something to do it. Actually, 90% of my day, I do things I don't feel like doing in that moment, right? It's called being disciplined. But you know what the beauty of it is? It also means being free. I'm not the victim of my moods anymore. I'm actually the master of my moods. And when I do something that I don't feel like, the secret, the beautiful thing about it is I feel pretty good about myself afterwards. Like, once I was on the podcast, I was like, I'm amazing. I didn't even feel like doing this, and this is awesome. And I'm already awake. I can go to the gym. I can actually do the presentation I'm going to share with people. Like, I'm up and about. The sun is out. Graz is beautiful. Boom. What a great decision to do the podcast this morning. Most of us, here's the deal. Most of us, we unfortunately already know the answers to all of our problems, but we just don't like them. So we think we don't know the answers because the answers we know are answers we don't like. It's like if somebody came to me and said, Steli, what do I need to do to lose weight? Not that I'm an expert, but I would just go, eat fucking broccoli and work out. Just move your fucking body a lot and eat healthy shit. There's no secret. But why are there a million books, a gazillion gyms, a trillion fucking fads and diets about this? Because eating healthy and working out is not what I want to do. Cool, what's the other option, Steli? Because I don't like broccoli. You know, I don't like running. I had a person actually go to the gym. No, that's a different story. I had a person that was like, all right, I'm finished with workout. I'm like, why? I'm sweating. I don't like when I sweat. Your problems are not your problems. Problems are what you think about your problems. So the truth is this. There's probably a problem you have, a challenge, something you want to accomplish, a goal you have. And up until this moment, some of you might have thought, I need to find somebody that's going to help me how to do this. I don't know how to do this. This is so difficult. This is so complex. I need to find answers. I need to do more research. I need to figure it out. And the answer if you're honest with you, is that there's probably already something you know how to do. There's probably an answer you already had or heard before that you just didn't do because you did not like it. I would suggest you do that. What a bummer. Right? Wouldn't it be nice if there's another solution? No, motherfucker, eat broccoli and work out. Fundamentals, basic shit. Life is not complicated, it's pretty simple, but it's humanity, it's us, our emotions, our neuroses, our problems, our programming that makes things seem much more out of control. And this is the final slide I'll share with you guys. Use the power of right the fuck now. There's no time like the present. There's no time like right now when you think, when should I do this? Now. Here's the biggest waste in business, one of the biggest destroyer of value in the economy around the world, meetings. You know why? Because meetings are places where usually people sit down and they talk about things, and they think about things, and they talk about decisions to think about things, and then nothing gets done and nothing gets decided. You know how many times I'm in a meeting and people are like, yeah, we should really schedule this next meeting to talk about this and that. I'm like, yeah, well, schedule it right now. You mean right now we're in the meeting? We're allowed to do shit in the meeting, motherfucker. Just open your laptop, ask around, and then we'll meet right now. We'll set the meeting right now. Well, Steli, we should also send an email to this investor and tell him about this. All right, I open my laptop and I write the email. If at the end of the meeting I have more work than before, it's a shitty meeting. If at the end of you know how many times you've been in a meeting where you wanted to decide one thing, and at the end you figure out you need to decide 20 things. Let's have a meeting about how we make decisions to make the other decision about the meeting that was really about the decision. Motherfucker, nothing gets accomplished that way. Do it now. I was just in a meeting where it was like, well, we talk, and it's like, well, let's do a little bit more research before we finally decide. And I went, hey, last week we said the same thing. What research are we going to, let's just decide something, do something, get results, and then if it's wrong, let's have a meeting about what we learned and change the decision. But let's decide right now. You decide. A or B? B. B, good, great, congratulations, we've decided. Right? Use the power of now whenever you discuss something, whenever something's up in the air, whenever you think, should I do this? Yes, do it now. All right, that's it from me. Thank you so much. You guys are too kind. Thank you, guys. Thank you.